in Austin on the 40 acres. On campus grounds, we gather round. Discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they the talk of the town. Podcast tales of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories. From touchdowns to heartbreakers, we discuss it all. Texas Longhorns glory. There we gather around each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Irish, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams we might. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
Yo, what up? It is us, Texas Longhorn Fan Battle, with another episode Thursday nights, as always. Of course, my name is Harish. This is my guy Tim Wayne. This is our guy Steven from Fanatic Perspective. Gentlemen, what's going down? How y'all doing?
Good, man. Ready to rock, ready to roll.
Steven,
Season's right around the corner. Can't wait. Can't wait.
We are Arch Manning days away from the opener. We are finally that final countdown, that last 2 weeks. Of course, we are here to bring it all to you every waking day, whether it's here on the show, battling it out with Sooner fans who really like their defensive line on Twitter, or if it's on TikTok, just posting another video or picture of the locker room, whatever it is, we've got you covered. We're here to cover it all. We appreciate you guys covering us. And today we'll talk about the second half of the season. Really brief overview, kind of see where the fellas think their minds are at as far as how this team will do. And then we'll talk camp and we'll get out of here. Before we do that, though, as always, let's give a shout out to fanbattlesports.com. fanbattlesports.com, where you can get the latest and greatest from the AFC South. Whether it's watching Anthony Richardson play 6 minutes of a quarter, watching the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, or the who was that other team? Houston Texans. Fanbattlesports.com. Like to start your own show, hit us up. Let us know. We'll get you started. Fanbattlesports.com. Before we get started here, Steven, I know you've been on the show. This is like your third or fourth time on the show. Of course, always a good time. Good friend of the show. For those of us that are new or returning, why don't you give us a brief introduction and how you got started in the Longhorn podcast area?
Yeah, so Fanatic Perspective. I'm a Texas football YouTuber. Cowboys. I'm a Spurs fan. I originally started the channel as a boxing channel to talk about Canelo versus Triple G. Was my very first YouTube video, and then I would say 6 months after that, or not 6 months, like a year later, Texas Maryland happened under Tom Herman, and that's where I really got going. Was really as a group therapy project. If there were other fans that were being tortured out there like me, where are they, right? And having those conversations online, and then the channel's grown, evolved. I was able to do a lot of stuff with one of my best friends in the world, Jonathan Tran, who will still be on the channel during the season. And we've grown, and still trying to grow, still trying to do this thing. So many years later, 7-8 years later, and have a partnership now with Bleacher Report during the season. So we'll be doing some, I basically be the Texas correspondent on the Bleacher Report app and all their platforms. So very blessed to have that opportunity and keep things rolling. So happy to be here. Appreciate you fellow fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get to talk to this.
Absolutely. And, I stumbled across your channel around that time. I think your first video, I think you posted from your cell phone, if I'm not mistaken, or something. And that's how I caught wind of you. So, been a huge fan of the channel for a long time. So as always, appreciate you jumping on with this talking ball. Of course,
Absolutely.
we've come a long way since that day.
Man.
We went from preseason can we beat Maryland to preseason number 1.
Yep.
So it's definitely been a wild ride. And you know what? I will say, don't care what anybody says. We deserve this gloat. You know, whether it's warranted, whether it's not, I really don't care. I'm going to say as a Texas fan, we've come a long way. Been through hell and back. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy the gloat of being number 1 preseason. And we'll figure everything else out in 16 days. But for
Man,
today,
has been visceral.
yeah. But for today, we are preseason number 1. I am going to be the preseason champion, and I'm going to celebrate it. Because again, I don't know when this is going to happen again. We could have to wait another. Well, the roster tells us we won't have to, but we never know, right? We could have to wait another 16 years for this. So, we will enjoy it for today. We appreciate you coming on. Real quick, last week, Stephen, we talked about the first 6 games of the Texas Longhorn season. Nothing like too in depth, obviously, right? Real quick, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. As you look at the first 6 games, obviously 3 big games in there, right? Ohio State, go to the Swamp, Texas OU. In your head as you look at the schedule play, do you see any of those games that could trip up the Longhorns? And if you were to like get a high level record prediction for those 6 games, what would it be?
So I'm sorry. I think you're having a little bit of trouble with the mic, but it was kind of in and out. But you were talking about Ohio State, Florida.
Yeah, if you look at the first 6 games of the schedule.
Okay.
Right, like high level. If you look at it today, what are your thoughts there record wise, without diving, too deep into each game and thinking, okay, if I look at this today and based off where this roster's at, what I think could occur, I think high level this could be our record, or these games could stumble us up. Or what does that look like to you as you look at it today?
Gotcha. So first 6 games is what? The
It's
3
Ohio State,
Ohio State, Florida, OU.
Yep, and then
Right.
ULM, Sam Houston, and whatever that other game is.
San Jose State.
San Jose State.
Okay, so you're basically saying through OU.
Basically 3 OU. Yep.
Yeah, through OU. I would expect no less than 5-1. No less than 5-1. I personally think we are going to beat Ohio State. That's just
I do too.
That's
Yeah.
my personal opinion. I know as we get closer to that date, there are people that I very much respect in the Texas community that have us losing that game.
Yeah.
Still having us have a great season overall. Like I think it's a really cool moment for college football, by the way, to have a 1 versus 2 matchup in the opener, especially with the reigning national champions. The fact that we played each other in the playoffs, the fact that was our last opponent that we saw, all of the just the hype around the game, I think is really, really dope. I don't think it's a make or break game for either program. You'll have an uphill battle record wise to start early in the year, but I don't think a loss kills you, especially if it's a close loss for either program.
Right.
It may actually come back to benefit you later in the year, regardless. So I like us taking that risk. I like the fact that schools like Texas and Ohio State are willing to step up non-conference and do this, because it is a significant risk, especially injury-wise, right? Like that, I always say when we go to play teams like that, guys are going to go down. It's going to be a war.
Yeah.
So all that considered, though, I feel good about where this team is going on the road and getting some, not full revenge, because it's a little different in the regular season versus a playoff game, but getting some revenge in Columbus and ruining kind of that homecoming for Ohio State coming off the national championship. So I think 5-1 or 6-0 is realistic for Texas.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Like, if I look at where both of these teams are right now, when we talk about like how Texas loses a lot, Ohio State loses quite a bit themselves, right? Like that team, like we all know this. That team was loaded last year.
Yep.
And they do lose quite a bit themselves, plus an offensive and a defensive coordinator. Like that's pretty significant, and I think that's going to not say that it's going to cause issues, but there is a learning curve or a change of a learning curve there that team's going to have, and they're going to be a very good team again,
Yep.
right? Also, a new starting quarterback. I guess Julian Sain is probably going to be the guy, is my guess. And it's going to be his first career start against arguably the best defense in the country. I don't know, Steven, do you think there is Texas the best defense in the country today?
On paper, I'd say we're definitely up there. I don't know if we're a better group overall than Alabama. I really
Okay.
like Alabama's defense this year. I think they're going to be phenomenal.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, Alabama's defense is going to be really, really good this year. I don't see any
Okay.
weaknesses over there.
Wow.
But I do think we have the best pass rush in the country. I'm willing to stand on that. And I don't know if any other defense can say that they have potentially an All-American at all three levels of the defense. I think when you look at
Yeah.
Texas defense, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, and then a Michael Taff who's already an All-American returning, I don't know if anybody else can say, even Alabama, I don't know if they can say we have an All-American at all three levels, right?
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
there are some things that the Texas defense where they can be had, especially in the secondary, and questions we need to answer, especially against the group that we're going to go up against, which might be the best group of position players that's in the country at Ohio State. But to your point about Julian Sain and the quarterback situation, Julian Sain, very talented. He was a guy that was recruited by Steve Sarkisian himself. He was Nick Saban's last quarterback take. So really consider that Nick Saban's, like, if Nick Saban hadn't retired, Julian Sain would be at Alabama. He wouldn't be at Ohio State.
Really?
He's
Did
only
not-
at Ohio State
Did not
because
know.
he's only at Ohio State because Nick Saban retired. Kalen DeBoer comes in, and now it opened it up back up, and you know, he knew he could go and take Devin Brown at Ohio State, who was waiting, behind Will Howard. Kyle
Yeah.
McCord was already gone. So Julian Sain out of that 2024 quarterback class. Now, where I look at this, though, an advantage to Texas, he has not taken reins of the job, at least according to their practice reports. The fact that it's still a quarterback battle, we are here August 14th. They have not named their starting quarterback yet.
You know what? We talked about that, and that. I think that's kind of been one of the most shocking things that's happened pretty much throughout the off season. Normally Ohio State kind of, when they name their quarterback, it's pretty much a big deal. Same thing with Alabama. Those types of teams, they name their quarterback. It's a talking point on ESPN. It's a talking point on First Take. Who should be starting? Who shouldn't be starting? And that just hadn't happened. So that's been actually very telling to me. Is it that we won't know until week one? Do you think it's something that he's still up? Ryan Day's still up in the air about choosing quarterbacks. Like, what do you think is going on there with that quarterback situation?
I think Lincoln Kleinholz, who is the competitor to Julian Sain, I think he's been pushing him since the spring. And I think he's been inconsistent. I think they have two different skill sets. Lincoln Kleinholz is more athletic. He's going to, is traditional dual threat college quarterback, kind of like Will Howard, right? Like more of that type of skill set. Whereas Julian Sain is supposed to be the gifted pocket passer, one of the quickest releases chosen, but he's been inconsistent. And they're not seeing what they want to see to where they're comfortable just giving him the job outright. That's according to them. And to me, I look at Texas, Arch Manning's getting all the work, whether he is having a good practice, a great practice, it doesn't matter. He's getting all the reps. So whoever they're putting out there on August 30th is getting half the work, unless they plan on playing both quarterbacks, which I do think could potentially be in play, especially to try to throw a wrinkle at Texas.
Yeah,
because then we'd have to prepare for both of them, right? We'd have to have some defensive packages in there to deal with zone read, quarterback run, things like that. I do think if they're going to continue this path, Ryan Day actually hasn't played two quarterbacks. I don't think I've ever seen him do that.
I don't recall it.
I don't either.
don't recall them going this late. Like even CJ Stroud in 2021 had,
Mhm.
I believe, had been announced or had taken the job or was taking majority of the reps. Even when they were so worried about him early on. Remember the Minnesota game? It was
Yep.
Scott
Well, is
Paul.
this the guy? The wildness of, and of course Ohio State's had a lot of really good quarterbacks, right? I do find it interesting that, and I was just looking around. I just read it. It looks like it looks like the Ryan Day is going to make an official announcement of the starting quarterback next week. They have a final scrimmage this weekend apparently.
Okay.
So we'll probably by Monday we'll know that.
That makes sense because they're going to game week after that.
Right.
Yeah, you've got to start prepping, right? Like you
Yeah.
got 2 weeks to really start. Probably next week you got to start putting in the game plan,
But
and then you
see-
got your first week of practice. And
Right.
school started too, so that probably changes stuff a lot.
But Steven made a very good point, though. That could be a situation where you do have a situation where you have a Rex Grossman, Chris Leak situation where you got two quarterbacks. One guy does one guy does the other. You want to throw a little wrinkle in there. We all know, we've seen it in our time as Texas fans, where you had Tyrone Swoops coming in. You know what was going to happen. It was either going to be a zone read, it was going to be some type of pop pass, something very quick, or he was taking off on his own. So, again, that could be Ryan Day playing a waiting game, and trying to let people know, or trying to prepare for Texas, try to throw a little wrinkle in there, to have something going forward. I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but would not be shocked if it wouldn't shock me if we see some type of package with a moment.
It wouldn't, especially again. This is the Texas Ohio State is an outlier game for both teams anyway, because after that they're going to have their tune-up games. Normally, you have your tune-up games so it's an outlier. Like even the guys that the way we're going to play defense against Ohio State is going to look different the way we're going to play defense in September.
Right.
When we're trying to play a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be a completely different thing. Here's the funny part though. History could repeat itself here. Because the last time we played in Columbus in 2005,
you remember?
No, but that yes. But what I'm getting at though is when we played in Columbus in 2005, we played two quarterbacks. They played two quarterbacks the whole game. Justin Zwick and Troy Smith.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Settled between Justin Zwick and Troy Smith at the time. After the game was when they really kind of moved over to Troy Smith full time. We know Troy Smith the next year goes on to win the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But if you go back and watch 2005, Jim Tressel was rotating because it was the second game of the season. He was still undecided.
Yeah.
Even at that point on who the quarterback was. That's
I totally forgot about Justin Zwick.
Yep.
Yeah. I totally forgot about Justin Zwick.
Like a lot of y'all don't remember him.
I'm gonna go back and watch that game because I do remember there was some hits on the quarterback that got Troy into that game quite early, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we saw more Troy in that game.
That's probably why, that's probably why I don't remember Justin Zwick, because if Troy, I think by the time that game ended, Troy probably played 65 to 70% of the snaps in that game.
Yeah.
So I'll give you their numbers from 2005. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Troy Smith went 5 of 11 in that game for 78 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
Justin Zwick went for 9 for 15. So he only threw 4 more passes.
Ooh.
They literally almost split it even. 9 for 15 for 66 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And then Troy Smith also ran the ball 13 times for 27 yards. Justin Zwick ran 5 times for 12 yards.
Yeah, I'm sure those 12 yards include some sacks in there. How many sacks?
Right, there's some sack yardage in there.
Yeah.
Well, my point is, if you look at their passing attempts, it's almost that's
pretty identical. Yeah, that's true.
So they were splitting.
Yeah,
Good God.
it'll be interesting to see. By the
But
way, of course,
that's 20 years ago.
yeah, I mean, for sure. But again, it's crazy to think that game was 20. Like, I don't want to age any of us, but I was a freshman in high school when that game was played.
Yeah, I was a
So-
freshman in college when that game was played.
I was a senior in college.
No,
or
wait,
senior in high
2004?
school. Senior in
Senior
high
in high
school.
school. Yeah, senior in high
Yeah.
school.
I didn't want to age us, but hey, that's where we're at.
Graduated 2000. So yeah, 2004. I was a senior. Oh.
By the way, real quick, of course, the world famous Chris Bennett. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing
What's
well.
up, CB? Oh, but one more. You talked about Vince Young though in that game, that Texas Ohio State game. I do think there are a lot of parallels like between that
Agreed.
year and this game. I mean, I wish it was a night game, but
Man,
I do think that, that game ended 25-22, which is interesting because that's 47 points, right? And the over under in this game is I think 47 and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
wow.
For this game is I think it's 47 or 47 and a half. And the reason why I say that is I've been saying take the under all off season. I've been saying take the under. I think this is going to be a very defensive game.
Yeah.
I think if you go back and watch 05 was a very defensive game. It's just the big moments, the big plays, Vince Young was able to make those.
Right.
But he had a tough game. Like it wasn't an easy walk in the park.
No,
like
he's playing against
senior
sure.
numbers. You know what I mean? It wasn't a shootout. Like Ohio State was getting stops throughout the night. Texas was getting stops throughout the night. It's just that at the end of the game, that when you needed it, they got it. And so when I look at Arch Manning and the Texas offense going against Ohio State, I do think they will lean on the defense. I do think they will lean on the fact that they can actually punt the ball and place in field position.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yep.
Right. And kind of let the game come to them. And then when you need a 2-minute drill, when you need to do something, that's when you'll see Arch and them really get into their bag, but they won't need to take unnecessary risk because they got to force stuff. You know what I mean? So just keeping that in mind, because I think this defense is going to stand on business from day one.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you look at the game in January, that basically was a defensive game. Like that entire, like minus a couple of plays, that was also
only 42
a defensive
points.
game. Yeah. Right. So 47 and a half is not far off at all. Like both of these defenses are going to play well.
Yeah.
And especially if you look at both of these offenses, like bringing in new quarterbacks, bringing in new, offensive lines and new weapons. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith is Jeremiah Smith, and they've got some other stuff. But I mean, I even think Jeremiah Smith is not going to go one catch for 4 yards. I hate to break it to you guys. Like that guy is way too talented for that, like to happen again, right? As great as it was, and that's why it feels so bad. It feels like a wasted game because we're not going to get that again, right? So
that's why
Ohio
State won the national championship, by the way,
for sure,
because you could hold a Jeremiah Smith to one catch for 3 yards and they still got theirs. It doesn't matter. Like that's a balanced team.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's, Texas, like, I hope we have the same thing, right? Like, all right, Ryan Wingo, you want to allocate all these resources to Ryan Wingo, let, Jack Indries and Parker Livingstone and DeAndre Moore go off and they get theirs, right? Like that shouldn't, if they weren't a national championship team, then we would have, their whole thing would have just only been built around Jeremiah Smith. And that's not
sure.
the case.
Do you feel concerned with Cedric Baxter? This is a question that came in from Twitter from Brian Const.
So, look, this is a nuanced one because the brother today said he did not say the words 100% out of his mouth. He was asked if he feels like he's 100%, and he's very confident. He said, yeah, and responded with, and I know he was the only running back for those who, get the practice scoop in the scrimmage. He was the only running back that scored in the goal line. Gibson wasn't able to score. Clark wasn't able to score. None of the other running backs were able to score. He was the only one that I think they went 1 for 7 in goal line drill, and he was the one
Jesus.
from 3 yards. So for those of you who are still worried about goal line red zone stuff, they went 1 for 7.
Still can see. Want to keep more. Might want to keep
But they went
worrying.
1 for 7 against what might be the best defensive line, front seven. Like, so it's
Yeah.
like, how do you weight this? But Cedric Baxter was the one to score. They say he's looked good. I want to see him without the brace, and I want to see how much work he really gets. How much work he really gets from jump will tell us everything we need to know. Because if he's 100%, then he's the same guy that was pushing Jonathan Brooks out of a job, who was about to win the Doak.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about, right? Like that's where I'm like, how much are we playing with? You know, we want him to feel good, blah blah blah, but then he goes to Ohio State and gets 5 carries. You know what I mean?
How much is that is played into like how Sark feels about it, right? Because we all know Sark is going to play it a lot differently, right? Like CJ Baxter's, yeah, you know, I could run the ball 30 times, you know, that on August 30th, and Sark's like, whoa, you might run the ball like 10, right? Like it'd be interesting to see how Sark plays it, because we've got, you know, Jarrett Gibson, we've got, you know, Christian Clark, we've got all these other guys that can also run the ball.
Yep.
And we know that Sark relies on that depth and relies on going deep into his roster. I think I'd be interested to see like what that split looks like between him and whoever number 2 is. Because right now I don't know who's been running with the 2s, but I don't know who the number 2 backup is. Is that Jarrett Gibson or is that somebody else? My brain tells me Jarrett.
Yeah, they say it's Christian Clark. I mean, Wisner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Wisner. Yeah.
Well, Wisner's going to be still. I would still pencil Wisner as your starting running back, but in terms of after Baxter, who's getting the work, especially working with the number 2s, all that, from all we've heard, it's Christian Clark that's gotten the rest of that work.
Interesting. Again, it's just so interesting to see how it plays out. That's
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, if all those guys stay healthy, we've got a fantastic running back room.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Go for it, Tim.
I kind of want to chime in on this here. I'm not worried about CJ Baxter. What I am worried about is how Sark utilizes CJ in the game plan. One thing I'm hoping that he, you know, doesn't do, which again he probably knows better than I do. He's been playing and being on the football field since before I was born. Is that he doesn't put Cedric Baxter in a situation where he's got him catching swing passes and screens and shit like that. I just need him to run north and south. I don't need him trying to do anything fancy. I want him to get behind his pads and run that route. We have a stable of running backs that can do that otherwise. I think this is an opportunity for him to kind of get going, to kind of see where the feelers go. That would be, to me, the last thing that you would do. Have him running, jet sweeps and catching screens and things like that. I think you get him north and south, see how he looks, see if he's got his footing, see if he's running confidently, and then move on from that point. But as far as ACLs and things of that nature, you know, MCLs and things like that, those injuries used to be devastating. Those used to be injuries that will end a career. And then Adrian Peterson happened. And Adrian Peterson is a freak of nature. But ever since then, wherever he went to get operated on, it seems like everybody goes, because a lot of people are coming back. They're returning. They're 100%. I understand everybody's differently. I understand bodies are different and people reacting to surgeries and healing and therapy all very differently. But it seems like he's going to be fine. He looks good. He looks slim. He looks trim. I don't see that as being a situation. That's not a situation I'm worried about. I just hope that they don't have him running around like a wide receiver. I just want to see him run north and south.
Well, that's the interesting thing though, right? Is if he's 100%, which I don't think he is right now, August 14th. I don't. I don't think he's. I'm sorry. I don't think he's 100. I think he's close. I think he feels good. I think he's able to run with power, right?
Yep.
Especially South, all those things. Because here's the thing: if he's 100%, then that means he's everything that you recruited, right? Which is
True.
the most complete back. The
Right.
whole point with Cedric Baxter Jr. being out there is you can't tip your hand when he's on the field because he can do everything.
True.
Here's the thing: when Wisner's back there, I can kind of cheat a little bit, knowing they're probably going to go more outside, or it's going to be a back
Yep, true.
running inside zone, or like I can cheat. You
Yeah.
cannot cheat when he's 100%.
Yeah.
Cedric Baxter caught 26 passes. This
Yeah.
freshman
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
They were using him in the screen game. He was
Yep.
getting lined up outside. Then he would motion back in and run up the ball. Sark was full menu with him as a running back.
Yeah.
Just like he had with Najee Harris at Alabama.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so if he is now just the guy that's only going to come in and be north and south, which is fine, that means he's not 100%. That's all I'm saying. Because 100%
Yeah.
Baxter
Right.
doesn't tip your hand to the defense.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think
get
to
what
Tim's
you're
point, it goes back to like how much do you want of 100% or not? How much of that do you want to expose? Obviously, it's Ohio State. We get it, right? But it's like, how much do you want to save that for like Florida or OU or like conference play where it's really important
saying. Yeah.
versus exposing that, good or bad today, because to Brian's point, like you want him to be at that bag by Florida, right? By the time you head to the swamp, like that's kind of where I see it. It's like, regardless of where you think he is, where do you think he needs to be at this point, and how much do you need to utilize him, knowing what you need him for later in the season? Is my thought. Steven-
If it was me, I'd be conservative with the player. That's
for
just,
sure, 100%. I think
All I'm saying is, because I agree with you guys 100%. All I'm saying is the version of him that we will once he is fully completely himself, that is the whole reason why he is regarded as the prospect that he's regarded, is he can do everything every down. But
100%.
even if he's limited and he's only doing those things, we have a complete room. We do. So we'll be fine. So I would be conservative with it. That's just me. Even if he tells me and shows me all these things, like, I mean, I don't see, to me, that it's not worth it with the rest of you. Yeah, I'm with y'all on that.
I'd agree. The one game that I said this last week, Steven, I'm curious to hear what you think. The game that I'm the most excited about, obviously because of what the stakes could potentially be, OU is like, we all get Red River, right? I'm very, very intrigued by that game in Gainesville, Florida, before OU.
Yep.
I think that game has the makings of being potentially, and again, I'm just saying this today, like one of the best games of the season, right? Obviously, there's a lot that goes into that. DJ Lagway has to stay healthy. Assuming Florida is what we hope Florida is, like a 5-1, 6-0 team heading into that game. They've got a tough schedule. I said last week, if this is a night game, I feel like that's a game Texas could lose just because of the scenes that could be there. What do you think going into like looking at it today, Florida? Like how do you see that matchup?
Yeah.
How do you view that?
Yeah. So to your point, if they're 5-1 or undefeated coming into that game, that means they would be on let's say they're undefeated coming into the game where we come down and swamp SEC opener for us. But at that point, they've already played LSU. They've already played Miami. Like they're battle tested. Not only would they be a top 10, maybe top 5 team at that point, but at that, Florida would now, going back to last season, 8 straight games. Florida did not lose again after we played them.
Correct.
Because Billy Napier, to me, did one of the smartest things and put his ego aside and basically decided to sit everybody when they came to Austin to buy some time to get people back for the LSU game the next week, which they go and win, and then they got on that heater and won out, and they go 8-5, and so they won 4 straight to end the season. They would be like on an 8 or 9 game winning streak at that point. So hell yeah, that would be a game everybody's got to pay attention to, because the one thing we know about Florida, at least offensively, starting with there, they can run the hell out of the football.
Yes.
They can. They ran for 200 yards on us with no quarterback.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Austin, they can run. Their line, slaughtering them at center. Jaden Ball, Jacoby Jackson, they can run the ball whether Lagway is there or not. What Lagway does, though, is off the running game and the play action, the deep shots are crazy. That's a crazy element to marry together. So that's where they pushed Georgia before he got hurt. They beat up like that. It's hard to defend. Where I still look at Texas, though, is can Billy Napier beat Sark?
Yeah.
Like in a coaching matchup, I still give a significant edge to Sark in terms of him versus Billy Napier.
Yep.
I really do question Lagway's health. You already brought it up.
Yeah.
But
that's the biggest piece.
not be understated. Like,
who's their backup? Do you know?
So they got
Pop
the
quiz
from NC State, Harrison Bailey.
Yeah.
But he played at NC State. He played at Tennessee. That guy's been at like 3 schools. They brought him in because Warner's still there, Aiden Warner, who started against us. But that guy, like, if he's playing, we're gonna whoop their ass. Like, I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that was my big thing. The other thing I said is if we, I think there's 2 things. If that game does become as significant as I'm hoping it does, right, and it's a night game, I do not have Texas winning that game because I think they're going to lose 1 game this year, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But if that is like an afternoon game, I think Texas can pull that out. I just think like that is Texas's first true road game in the conference.
Not A&M?
Yeah.
You're not counting A&M? At Kyle Field?
I don't care about that. No. Listen, when you go to another stadium and their offense can't even put up a point, nah, you ain't got no home field advantage, my guy. You could tell me, you could call it whatever. Listen, you could scare, Southeastern Western University, Texas, whatever. But listen, my guy, if you can't score at home, it ain't tough. I'm sorry. And I just don't buy into Marcel Reed nonsense. Like, I don't care about all that.
I'm just saying in terms of atmosphere, like SEC road atmosphere, I feel like that's
sure.
Like I feel like that's a legitimate environment to play in. That's all.
I'm not putting anything past Marcel Reed. I think Marcel Reed could potentially be a special player. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of anything A&M, but we got to call a spade. Marcel Reed is the shining point. Is a focal point of that offense, and they go as he goes. They've got the talent. They just never put it together. They're like my Cowboys. They look great on paper. They do all these great things in the recruiting world. They get all these big name players, but then when it's time to put up or shut up, it don't seem to really come quite together. So, but he is the bright spot, and I definitely don't feel like that's something that you got to you want to overlook.
I would hold A&M's running game over Marcel Reed. Like I think like their running game at full strength is something to be reckoned with. With Le'Veon Moss, they got a couple other guys like that. That running game is legitimate.
Yeah, and if he's a part of it, that he can hurt you.
Yeah, for sure.
But Ruben Owens is 100% now, and Amari Daniels is really good.
I forgot about Ruben
Owens.
They've
got running backs, man. Those guys, they got running backs.
Ruben Owens is 100% now. Like they got guys.
They got a few of them, right? Like, look, I get Marcel Reed, and I get the excitement and the hype behind Marcel Reed. I still think like knowing Mike Elko, like that, the strength of that team is going to be that running game even this year. Yeah, yes, they got KJ Concepcion, like they got those guys. I still think the strength of that offense is that offensive line who brought back, I think, all 5 linemen and that running game. And I think that's what they're going to lean on again this year.
Which they should. And Marcel Reed's legs, too. Marcel Reed's legs are also a big, and they should be a big part of their run game. The thing is, can he hit what we talked about with Florida and Lagway? What Lagway is already elite at is hitting the deep stuff with all of the space you're going to get because people are trying to stop your run game. Marcel Reed couldn't hit any of those.
No,
That's the difference.
you're hoping that he can make that jump within this offseason.
That's
Last week he
if he
still
makes
can't
that
hit
jump in the
them.
offseason, they're dangerous. If he
Yeah.
can, but he has not shown that.
Yeah.
And then you get to start to play defense against them where you don't respect it. And it's like,
As
throw the
of-
ball over my head. We don't think you can.
As of last week, he still can't hit the D-ball. So I'm just watching the video. Listen, they put the videos out there for you to watch, right? Do they not put the videos out there for you to watch? Tim,
Mind
They
you,
not
that
put the
tweet that
videos
you
out
put
there
out
to watch.
there, that tweet that you had put out there got over 6,000 impressions. Because
I'm
you
sorry,
decided-
dude. But
Oh.
I'm just watching the video, Tim Lane. I'm just making an observer. I'm just making an observation based on what I see.
man.
And I saw he still can't do it. So
Like the comments, the retweets, I had to put the phone down, bro, because it was
my
like,
bad, bro.
I was like, bro, I'm trying to work here. I'm
I
trying
was
to
just
get
watching the video.
situated.
I just
You
want
know,
to see
you're
what
talking
everyone
about
thought.
Marcel Reed. I was like, oh god, oh god.
We'll get over it. We'll get over it. Next
I want to
issue.
address this comment though.
I did
from,
too. Yeah.
Brian. DeAndre Moore, he's right. He did drop 4 touchdowns last year from Quinn. And then there was like 2 more, because we've been doing the rewatch series on my channel. We're almost done. There's like 2 or 3 more where Quinn overthrew him and he was open for a touchdown. Keep this in mind. And this is why I think DeAndre Moore is about to have a hell of a season. I'm not concerned at all. It's consistency. He can make those plays. He can make those catches. I don't think he has bad hands. I think it's growing pains. I think it's maturity of understanding you're now the go-to guy. You need to be consistent, period. The reason why I say that, though, is he was in a complementary role to Isaiah Bond, to Matthew Golden, to Gunnar Helm, basically the 4th option, right? Yeah. Then you also had 2 running backs that caught 44 passes each between Blue and Wisner. DeAndre Moore still had 7 touchdowns last season.
Yep.
7.
That's crazy.
7. That leads people's teams. That's our 4th receiver in our league.
Receiver had 7 touchdowns.
Our 4th receiver had 7 touchdowns last year. So what happens when his target share goes up? He's now the primary on a lot of these routes, just like he was the primary. We saw what the boy did in the SEC championship game against Georgia.
100%.
Yeah.
When he was the primary and he got 12 targets in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Looked good. Yeah, he looked good. He looked great.
It's just a question of, for me, it's never been a question of if, it's a question of when. Wingo being on the outside only helps with all of that. I think all of them can get theirs, especially with Arch back there in year 3 of this offense, more in year 3 of this offense. And then having an experienced tight end, having the run game, having the other receiver to the boundary, whether it's Livingstone or Mosley.
Yeah.
He will eat because he's one of the best slot receivers at getting vertical down the field. That's the difference between DeAndre Moore and your average slot receiver, is his ability to stack a safety and get vertical. And we know Arch is an explosive big play thrower, just like Lagway.
Yeah.
That's where they like to throw bombs.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. I think it's going to happen this year.
I have a quick yes or no question, Harish and Steve, if you would just let me know what you feel right now with what you've seen with Arch, with what you've seen with Quinn in the past. Do you feel like Arch is a better thrower of the deep ball than Quinn?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think that's a doubt.
Okay.
I don't think
that's been my one thing is
Yeah.
Quinn was inconsistent with the deep ball. When he was on, but he left a lot of big players on the field. He left a lot of touchdowns on the field. That is one thing I'm hoping that Arch does not do, because again, you've got this array and you're full of riches here at the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to get open. As long as he's got time, somebody's going to get open. Somebody's talented enough to get open. So, especially if you can get open down the field.
Tim, I want to present this to you, and I think you're going to pick up what I'm saying here. One of the challenges that Quinn had with the deep ball at his time at Texas was we had track stars, right? Whether it's Golden running 4.2, whether it's Worthy running 4.2, whether it's AD Mitchell running 4.34, like Isaiah Bond running 4.3 something, like he had a problem with really getting the balls timed up to their speed.
Right.
What he was trying to do all the time was trying to gun it to where he would either throw it to the wrong hash. If he was throwing post,
Yeah.
the ball would be on literally the wrong hash.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't make a play on the ball, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
there were a lot of uncatchable deep balls or
Mhm.
balls that just hung in the air too long. The thing that Arch does is even when he's missing his deep ball, it's still catchable. It's still on the right hash mark.
Yeah.
It just becomes a 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
So he can still go up
You can
and
make
make a play. He's not throwing moon balls either. Arch's balls are sometimes even on a rope. Some of his-
Arch.
but they're just high enough to where I can still high point the ball and make a play.
Right.
Like
Right.
very rarely is he throw. It's on film. There's very rarely. Now it's not a whole big sample size like Quinn over a period of 3 years.
Right.
But in his 2 starts in the time he's played, which is a little bit, he's thrown over 100 passes.
Mhm.
He very rarely have you seen him miss a deep shot where the ball wasn't catchable.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
rare.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference because there's plays where AD Mitchell and them probably could have gone up and mossed somebody. They never got the chance to do it because the ball was on the wrong hash. Like the boy was way off. Like,
Man.
I think that alone.
Man, I always think about, I can't remember exactly the game, but maybe it was that TCU game where TCU came down here and just embarrassed us, and they had a terrible game. It was in November, late November. Texas had the opportunity to play spoiler. Queen goes out there and absolutely
That was a
starts
dud.
overthrowing everybody. I remember at least
his freshman year.
Yeah, I was at that game. He literally overthrew Xavier Worthy like 3 times just like you said, Steven, on the wrong hash, over the outside shoulder. I'm like, bro, just place the ball inside. He's got this guy beat by a month. They can't hold him. They can't hold Xavier Worthy, and he overthrew him so many times. There was one time where they did connect. I don't even know if they scored because it was just that embarrassing. But I'm hoping that is not the case, and I hate to bring up the past, but I really want to make sure what I'm seeing, I'm not.
No, you're not tripping.
Okay.
You're not tripping. Now, Kurt Warner, I mean, that's why I like watching these quarterback. Like we live in the age now where we can watch Hall of Fame quarterbacks or people that have been in quarterback rooms like for many years, even if they're a backup or whatever, because they're so they can give you a very proper understanding of what it's like. And it's like, and this is something even the little bit of football I played in high school, I played QB, so it was like going to camps and stuff. We were taught to throw the spots. On some of these shots. That's why I'm talking about the hash. Like, you know, because you can't see everything in the pocket sometimes. But if you know the coverage and you know what spot you're throwing to, now it's just incumbent on the receiver to be there.
Right.
So one of the things, like the first day when they were showing Arch throwing and he hit a shot to Wingo, somebody put a towel, I think, on the tee in the end zone.
Really?
And Arch was dropping it on the towel. I'm like from 50 yards away because
don't give me hype.
Throwing to a spot.
Don't give me hype. Don't give me hype.
And it's like with Quinn, no disrespect, but that ball would be like on the X. You know what I'm saying? Like where now I'm having to readjust. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes a difference. Like just being where the ball being where it's supposed to be, even if it's not a perfect throw, if it's underthrown over whatever. If it's at the spot, the receiver has a chance to make a play.
Yeah.
And too many times that's where Sark has been like, man, y'all are missing on my shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it was maybe like the second or third day of practice. Did y'all remember seeing the video where Sark was like, Arch throws a deep shot, and Sark was like, hell yeah, I love that shit, or something like that. Like,
that was
he
the day
knows.
for the towel. That was the exact same.
Yeah. Oh,
same day.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that goes to show, like, Arch is probably the prototypical Sark quarterback, right? Like, as far as like, how he wants to run the offense, how he wants to layer the ball against the defense, and how he progressively grows a quarterback. Even last year, and we saw Arch throw a few balls like his freshman year, his sophomore. Like we've seen the progression even from like freshman year to last year.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that's going to be this year. And really, the only thing that's missing in this other like instance is how does he lower the ball intermediately? Those intermediate throws is going to be the big thing that I'm really interested in
Yeah,
seeing.
because Quinn did throw those at a high level. So the things
Very
that Quinn
well.
did do at a high level, the intermediate layered throws, especially when he was kept clean, he was very, very good at that.
Oh, yeah.
And was good at that from his freshman year. And also the screen. Like Quinn throws a good screen, and he's good with his ball handling. There's a lot of ball handling involved in this offense, especially with the protections. That's something that was a big reason why Quinn went to the Miami Dolphins, because they do a lot of that stuff in their offense right now. He was very, very good at that stuff. And so there's a lot of college quarterbacks that struggle to put the ball on the running back on a swing pass where it's supposed to be every single time. There's a lot of guys that are going to the NFL that still are inconsistent at it. Quinn was able to do that 9 out of 10 times in his sleep, right? So those type of things are the reasons why he still led the SEC in touchdowns. He was still second team all SEC quarterback and was holding, and it was helping us go to the playoffs because he could do those things. But I do think Arch is going to be able to do the same things as well, but add all the other dimensions,
Magnified level,
athleticism,
for sure.
deep ball. I think he's going to be able to do everything.
I would agree with that. Brian asked the follow-up question. Do you keep Wingo as a deep threat or use him more like we use Jay Witt?
Brian, we got multiple weapons on the field, brother. We don't have to. Wingo, look.
We don't have these problems, right?
No
longer have these problems.
So people understand. So paint a reference. Wingo is currently playing in the same spot that Xavier Worthy played, which is the X receiver in our offense, right? To the field. Typically opposite of the tight end, where it's the most space to work. Mm-hmm. That's typically where you want your best receiver to play, like Jeremiah Smith, right? You'll see him featured there a lot. That's where that's your number one receiver. Ryan Wingo is still your number one. Now, he may not get the best stats, but that, like Isaiah Bond before he got banged up, was our X last year.
Yep.
Then we moved Matthew Golden over there and he started eating. But remember, they were both playing those spots.
Yep.
Where DeAndre Moore is playing is going to be predominantly what Sark and them call the H, which is the slot, which is where he's going to be inside, right? Inside the tight end, inside the X. But they'll also they'll do trips, they'll do stack bunches. I expect a whole bunch. It's going to be like the NFL.
Yeah.
We run a
lot of pro-level concepts. You're going to see a lot of motioning. You're going to see a lot of guys pre-motion snaps to see exactly what the defense is in, to throw people off, to get people to shift, get them out of coverage. And with a quarterback like Arch being able to make those type of throws, your defense
opens it up even more.
If, you can't go in there messing around and not, being in the right coverage. You can't have people miscommunicating and not communicating on the back end. Your linebackers got to know where to be at all times, whether, they're going to shift out and guard a running back if a running back comes out or so forth. It's a lot of moving parts in Sark's offense. I think we will see the entire playbook opened against Ohio State for sure. I think we're going to see a number of plays that we had not seen before. I think we'll see a number of plays that we've seen before in the past that work. I think we're going to see a lot of wheel routes. I think we're going to see a lot of tight end screens and things of that nature. So I'm excited to see exactly what, from an offensive standpoint, because like Steven said, I think this is a Sark quarterback for sure. And I think he's going to entrust Arch with that playbook. Maybe even, maybe throughout the offseason, they kind of work together to throw some plays in there, throw some stuff that maybe Arch likes in the fold, to get him comfortable and have him confident going into this Ohio State game. So I'm excited to see that for sure. That is going to be a straight up chess match.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick. I think the perception that Sark hasn't opened up the playbook is kind of um
But he hasn't.
what I'm looking. It's
He has not.
okay. What I'm trying to say, it's like in a way, it feels it might feel that way because of Quinn's inconsistencies, right? Like there's probably a lot of different things that Sark had tried to do, but he couldn't because Quinn was so inconsistent as a
Well,
thrower.
he was
But
also
this
injured.
also applies to the running game as well. There's no reason why you're running in between tackles with Trey Wisener. Trey Wisener's banged up. He hasn't been able to really get anything inside the entire game. You don't think to throw Gibson out there at all, which is the bigger back, and you continue to try to pound Trey through the tackles, and it's not working for you. And you're in a position where you could really put somebody away. To me, that's you're not really opening up your playbook. You're just, I don't know, playing it safe. I don't want to say he's playing it safe, but in those moments, it feels like he was playing it safe. Oh, we don't get the first down, we take the points. Mind you, we had somewhat of a kicking issue last year, but for the most part, we don't get the points. Oh well, we'll leave it in our defense's hand when the offense really could have taken over and squashed a lot of the games. They won comfortably in a lot of games, but they could have really put a lot of people away early and gotten younger guys in there to get more experience earlier in the game, and he didn't do that. And that's just from what I saw.
I think he was also limited when Quinn came back and we were playing, Georgia the first game.
Right.
I do think that he was limit a lot of the boot stuff, a lot of the stuff he gets from Sean McVay because they share plays. All that stuff, we didn't see a whole lot of that. We saw more with Arch last year than we did with Quinn
Right.
because Quinn wasn't able to. After like full menu for Sark really is what we saw in the Michigan game when Quinn was healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what full menu looks like.
Mhm.
It condensed down because once the player, to Tim's point, once you don't have a running back that you trust to be a hammer, now I can't serve that part of the meal tonight. That
right.
piece of the menu gets scrapped, right? Now, once my guy is having oblique problems and we're trying to protect him, I got to run more quick game stuff. I can't do the deep bootleg rollout that I want to do that I could set up because it's not really feasible, or else I might get the boy hurt. But with Arch back and Baxter and people being able to run the ball, now everything should be back on the table, which should also help you in the red zone,
Right.
too. There's no reason why Texas should be ranked 111th in red zone scoring.
Jesus.
Again, like they were in 2024.
Ever.
And still almost got away with it. Those bad habits got to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of that is development too, right? Like you're hoping the development of some of those guys, seeing it multiple times. The development of this offensive line throughout the course of the season is going to be very interesting to see because that's also going to play a big factor in the success in the red zone. So I'm very interested to see like how that goes as well, because I think that's going to play a big role because we don't have the same quote unquote experience of the offensive line that we've had in the last couple of years.
I was listening to Crane and Co. and those guys. And I go back and forth with Jay Crane on Twitter a lot because he hates on Texas all the time. And I give him stuff because he was trying to give Julian Sayin the benefit of the doubt and wasn't trying to give it to Arch, but that's neither here nor there. I had to box him up on Twitter a few times. However, he did raise a good point during the Texas preview that they dropped.
I have to go check
which is, and it made me think because I didn't like it when he said it, but then I was like, you know what, he might be onto something. When we go to Ohio State, to Tim's point about all the motion and the NFL stuff that we do, that's just our natural function of offense. Could that lead to a lot of, Texas when we've lost, a lot of pre-snap penalties?
Oh my God!
Don't
do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Well, it goes back to the inexperience of the offensive line, right?
And that's why I'm
really
on that because that was a struggle for us. Even in the Michigan game, early in the Michigan game, we kept getting in second and 20, third and it's just that Quinn and then we're converting them.
Right.
They converted a third and 20. They converted, but that's not. You don't want to live like that.
No, sure. Don't work with that.
But we would get on first down and we do two motions, and next thing you know, the whistle's blowing because of some, illegal shift or false start or this or that. So I do, which is what they were saying is some of these teams that actually try to keep it simple and go on the road and just try to play tempo to avoid penalties. And essentially,
makes
it is
sense.
interesting.
Yeah,
Because
it makes sense.
it's harder to do what we do, which is why it's the NFL stuff with all of that. So you really, really, really have to be well coached, on the same page, and buttoned up in a road environment, which Texas was able to pull off in Alabama. They didn't have those problems at Alabama, but they were a veteran group, had a lot of time in. I do think that is a legitimate concern at Ohio State with some of the pre-snap stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing that I'm interested in seeing is, it's not a veteran group by like snaps with like these guys have started 85,000 games together. Like I don't think it's a veteran group in like that aspect, but these guys have been here. They've been in like this is Sark's team, right? Like we no longer have to like talk about, oh well, this guy is a Herman guy. It's like his second year here. Like, all these guys have been here, right? Even the guys on the line that are like starters, like Hayden Connor, like those guys. They've played snaps, right, in this offense. So I think that's the other piece of it is like, yes, it's not like veteran or they're not returning starters in the way that we want them to be, but it's not like these guys are going in blind and they've never played a snap of football under this offense, right? I think that's the other piece of it that I do find like DJ Campbell's a fourth-year starter at this point. Like, obviously, he plays on the right side in the right tackle position, but that's the stuff that I think still kind of helps. Like it's not the veteran group that we're like, oh yeah, these guys have a lot of snaps together, but there's a lot of veteran folks.
Yeah, they got to have that chemistry, and they have to establish that chemistry with each other. And I think that will obviously come the more that they play with each other. What is encouraging is, to your point, 3 of the guys we've seen play. We've seen Cole Hudson start a whole season. Now, not at center, but we've seen him play football. We know what he's capable of physically. DJ Campbell, obviously your lone returning true starter. But Trevor Gooseby played the most important snaps we could have had to play last year.
Significant snaps. Yeah.
And shined, right? Yeah. And excelled when he played, whether it was left or right tackle. The fact that he played both positions. So really the question is Neto at left guard and Brandon Baker at right tackle, who's a former 5-star. Are they ramped up and ready to go? And I know I've heard things that they're really good at, and I've heard things that there's legitimate concerns and why there's still a position battle, or what will Brandon Baker now with Kojo out for the season, he really needs to get a stranglehold on that, or else Nick Brooks might, if depending on when he comes back from injury, may end up taking that job. But if Baker can hold on there, but Neto and Nate Kibble, who was injured the year before and is now back, is pushing Nate Kibble's pushing Neto at guard. But to your point, these are all Kyle Flood recruited players.
Right.
There's no portal guys on the line. Not one guy. And the fact that the staff did not go to the portal to get a lineman, I think that shows that they have faith that they can get to their 5 guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it comes up. I think Brian has one more question here around the RPO game. Do you think we get more RPO this season? I would have to think so. I feel like you are right. We have been limited because of Quinn's injuries. I have great hope that we can have a completely more diverse offense. I think as long as the health is there, like the bag is open, right? Like you've got kind of like what Steven was saying earlier. Like as long as we have all the ingredients on the table to cook the meal, like the meal will be there, right? It's all about making sure we can keep all the ingredients from going bad before we can cut it up on the board and put it out there on the field. So I think, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. As of today, like I have confidence that we'll put everything out there.
Well, we're healthy. Yeah, I'll let Tim go.
Yeah.
Go Tim.
Oh yeah, no. As long as we're healthy, I see nothing. I don't see anything being held back. Of course, I think with the lesser opponents, your San Jose States, your Sam Houston's, I don't see them opening the playbook for that. They won't need to. The talent should be able to take care of that. And then going from there, going forward, as long as there's big opponents and worthy opponents of that playbook, I think from that point on, you make sure that thing is open and you continue as normal.
For sure.
I do think we will see a little bit more RPO, but not in the traditional sense that we've seen RPO here at Texas. I think you will see RPO with the third element, which is the actual quarterback run. So I think you'll have our RPO has been either handoff to the back or throw.
Yep.
Right.
The option to pull the ball your own self has not really been there. That's not realistic with Quinn. You wouldn't ask Quinn to do that.
Right.
Different story with Arch. Right.
Yeah.
So I do think that dynamic, again, to Tim's point, those type of plays, you're going to run those in the big games. You're probably not going to see a whole bunch of zone read and quarterback design run and RPO stuff in the September games. Those games will be, though, deliberate to get ready for certain opponents in the SEC.
Sure.
Yeah.
You will notice that they're trying to work on something that week.
Yeah.
So like UTSA last year, you remember they came out through like 11 straight passes?
Mhm.
Like they were working on something
Yeah.
before Quinn went down. Like, so they're going to use those games. Sark has done a great job about this against those type of opponents of like, hey, this week I'm really trying to get a good sense with my receivers. So everybody's going to play. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to have a play call for them. And I want to see how it looks. Because this is the week I can do that, right? So that's what those 3 games in September, that's what that month is going to be about.
Yeah,
so by the time we go to Florida, they have a full understanding of what the rotation should be, who can do what, and they feel comfortable.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's when you might see like a variation of a play in that game, and then you might see it run a completely different way when you get to Florida. Similar to that run that Isaiah Bond had against Florida last year. Like we saw a variation of that before that, but then we see it in the Florida games. Oh shoot, like he ran this, but then this time, this time he hands it off, and that's what happens. That's why they were doing that all these games, right? So yeah, we'll definitely see a lot of that, and it will be run with intention, right? Like there's a reason why we're doing this a multitude of times, because we want to hopefully try to set something up sometime down in the future. Cool. Great conversation. Before we get out of here, guys, I know I want to be wary of Steven's time. Steven got 6 games here real quick. I just want to go down the list.
Let's do it.
In depth with it. WL, and then I'm curious, since we won't have you on next week, if you've put any thought into your playoff teams. I'm just curious to hear what you got to say on that. Let's start with Kentucky. Saturday the 18th. Obviously, we beat Kentucky last year. We go to Kentucky this year. It looks like that's going to be a night game. Any concerns here around Kentucky, whether that's going to be a W or a L?
Nope. Next.
No concerns about W or L. I think that's a W. We're not going to get cooked by Zach Calzada. I'm sorry. That's not happening. What I will say, though, is in play with Kentucky is they are always, under Stoops, extremely physical. It's a fucking booth football game.
Mm-hmm.
I always get concerned about guys getting nicked up. Like they will not that they're dirty or anything. They hit. They've traditionally been hard hitters. They've had great defensive line play last few years, and that is a very physical game where guys could get worn down a little bit. But I don't think we'll have a problem winning the football game now.
Yeah. If you remember, Kentucky almost beat Georgia last year early in the season.
That was awesome.
And
they probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
They should have beaten Georgia, and they beat Ole Miss outright.
Yeah.
Yep, they did. Then the next week, you go to Mississippi State. Kind of the same scenario. Is Jeff Lebby there after this year?
No.
Yeah. I think they still got to give him one more year, man. Like that program was like the Pirate going down, right?
Yeah.
Then Arnett, he just wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't gotten enough horses in there. I'm excited to see what my boy Darian Gallett's over there now. I wish
Right.
him luck over there. Brendan Thompson just got married. He's going to be their wide receiver. Blake Shapen, but we're going to whoop their ass. That's going to be a blowout. I'm sorry. That's an ass whooping.
Yeah. I think this next game can be a little bit tricky because you head into the bye week looking ahead to the big one, but Diego Pavia comes to Austin.
That's an ass whooping.
Think so?
I'm gonna tell you why. And I thought about it today with the Crane boys. They're talking about it. They were like, "Yo, Vanderbilt was a terrorist last year, and now that everybody's aware of what they're doing, they're going to be because they've been talking all this SEC documentary, all that, and I think it bothers Texas that there's this narrative that they played us close. Yes, the game was 3 points.
Yeah,
we did that rewatch. We should have won by 21. Easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like opportunities in that game as well.
Kobe Black has a pick 6 to make the score 34-17 with a minute left in the game.
That's right.
Vernon Broughton gets called for roughing the
back
on a late ass hit.
Yep.
Right. Kobe Black's already has the ball. Right.
Yeah.
And then then Eli Stowers gets like the random touchdown, and next thing you know, they're kicking an onside kick. Like, nah. When they come to Austin, they get an ass whoop. I'm gonna stand on that.
That'll be a home game for their running back Cedric Alexander, but I think that defense is gonna be pissed, and I'll
be ready.
Diego or Cedric really having a great game. I think they'll get the majority of the touches. Cedric being their star running back out of Austin, Texas, Austin LBJ, but I don't see it for him. I think this is BTA.
That is one of those games that defense will definitely be circling for sure, right? Because of what happened.
Especially with all
because of what happened.
And I haven't
much chirping.
SEC.
I watched one episode of that. I have not
continued
that yet.
That is prime football. They should honestly, that should have been released on ABC. You remember how during COVID we had the
great content
documentary?
It's so good, yeah.
It's so.
I can't wait for Texas to drop theirs because Texas recorded last. They're doing something. They recorded last.
It's on the Longhorn Network, the app though.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on the Longhorn Network app. I saw it by accident.
They got to be working on something else because they wouldn't say no to Netflix money. They said no, and but you wouldn't say no just to put that on the Longhorn Network app.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I'm just the messenger, man.
There's got to be. They got to have a deal with Amazon Prime or HBO or something.
The Longhorn Network.
I'd be down with the Deion Sanders type Sark show on Prime. I'm down for that.
Yeah, they recorded. They had cameras like the big time ones the whole season. So
yeah,
they have something.
They got something in the works. We'll see.
Maybe it drops the week of the season. It's like a shadow drop or something. We'll see. All right. Then you get the bye week. Then you get the big boy in Athens.
This is a draw.
What do you guys think?
This is a draw. I think Kirby. I don't know what Kirby is truly a Nick Saban guy. You could tell. It's just some of the stuff that he's been talking earlier this year, especially at the SEC Media Days and some of his pressers prior to that. He's really, I think he's trying to get his team pumped up. I think he's trying to do it's us against the world type of mentality, and they're down in us. They've got us down and out in the SEC, and he's starting to really take on that space that Nick left behind, especially with some of the gibberish that he's done within the last couple months.
That is wild, man.
But I will say this, and Steven and Harish, you will agree with me. There is always Texas, no matter where in the history, as far as long as I've been watching football, there is always one player that Texas, they either fold against, they have a very hard time against, and I will give you some very, very interesting players over the years. Michael Crabtree, Darren Sproles, Kyler Murray, Taysom Hill.
Oh, yep.
Good God, Taysom Hill. Why? Don't even
Golly.
ride the bike.
We made that guy. We made that guy.
Gunnar Stockton is that guy. He is that guy. Do I think he's a fantastic quarterback? Yeah. The film is still out. The jury's still out on him, right? He's still relatively young. He had a few games. He did quite all right. I think that Notre Dame game, they probably should have sat him or tried to do something else because that just wasn't working out. But I just feel like that's the guy. I feel like he's you can't really put him in a box. He does like to run. He's very sporadic when he does run. He can throw the ball. Oh God, he reminds me of Baker Mayfield. In the stature, the way he moves, throwing at different angles. I wouldn't say he doesn't have the same bravado as Baker, but he does kind of remind me of Baker. And that I just don't think, along with being in Athens, works out for Texas.
So it's interesting you say that. Drew said, Yanez said that, Doc. The Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt, bro, if they had kept their mouths shut, I wouldn't have said what I said. But I know we're not the only people in the conference that feel this way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So that they were. But anyway, I just wanted to address what's up, Drew, because he's right. That rap is going to cause them to get a BTA that they weren't really supposed to even get.
Yeah.
But to the Georgia point, Kirby right now does have Sark's number on the field. There's no question about that. When you meet somebody twice in a row. The thing that Kirby has, which makes him the top dog in the sport until he is dethroned, really, Ryan Day has not dethroned Kirby Smart yet. They're getting closer, but they have not dethroned him since Nick Saban's retired. Kirby's been top dog. The reason why Kirby is the top dog is what you saw in Austin the first game. He can get his team motivated like I've never seen. When he gets his kids to feel some level of respect, some level of like, who said that about you?
Right.
Like, I don't know if he's making stuff up or what, but he be talking crazy.
Yes, he does.
Like, where you're like, oh, I see why they play the way they play. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the other thing, the other thing that makes Kirby great is Kirby has great instincts in close games, the little things. Yeah. And that's the Kirby Smart you saw in the SEC championship game when they dial up a fake punt, right? When they do those, that's where Sark. That's where Sark is not bad, but he's not Kirby. Like those little things, like when they were in Austin, they do the flea flicker to Oscar Delp when we had him backed up on third down, and we're about to get the ball right back, and that's when Bobo dials that up. Like Kirby knows, and his staff knows when to tweak. And that's a championship instinct. That's something Sark has to prove, right? Because we haven't been able to prove it in both semifinal losses. Somebody's done a little. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing in a game with little margin, like we'll see in Athens. I have to give the edge to Kirby until I see us beat them. I'm sorry, I'm with Tim. I don't think we have. I think we are a better team. Yeah. And I know we can beat Georgia. Like, I know Arch Manning, I think, is a better quarterback than Gunnar. Like, I don't even have to think about that.
Yeah.
Right.
But they don't need Gunnar Stockton to be all world to beat us. They don't need –
They need one or two plays out of him. That's it.
And the thing is, both games, they were able to run the ball on our defense. They actually ran the ball into the end zone to win the SEC championship game. If I'm not
mistaken. Ran it really well, on the 1 yard line, right down the tooth of these, right down the middle.
So they're the one team that looks at Texas in the eye and says, "We can go man for man with you. Yeah, we can go speed for speed with you. We're not intimidated by you." So that's the thing that Texas is going to have to defeat. Now we've played them in Austin, we've played them in Atlanta. Now we're playing them in the toughest place, which is Athens. So it'll be interesting. I can't give Texas the benefit of the doubt unless we see something during the season where Georgia's really fallen off. Then obviously we'll adjust. But preseason right now, I have to give Texas a loss just out of respect to Kirby and what he's proven so far against Sark.
I think regardless of how Georgia plays their season out leading up to that game, I would still give Kirby the benefit of the doubt, because then like that mentality that you just said, like the fear of like you're the worst thing to ever happen since sliced bread, like that'll like continue to build up even more and more and more. Like let's just say they lose 2 games, right? And like they need this, like that'll be something that he uses to motivate that team. That's exactly what he needs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even think you could beat Texas anymore because you've lost 2 games, and then boom, something happens. And I think to your point, you said like Kirby has been able to dial up something in each of those last 2 games that just come out of the blue. I think some of that is experience, right? Like experiencing the same thing Sark is feeling right now. Kirby felt that, right? Ryan Day has felt that. Like they've all been through it. I mean, a lot of people aren't a fan of him, and that's okay. I like Colin Cowherd, right? I know he has wild takes sometimes, but he said something like a couple years ago around like Ryan Day, and like he made comparisons around like when guys won their first national title, like how long it took for them to get there, right? Steve Sarkisian is in like his 8th year as a head coach, 10th year maybe. Like his time is coming, huh? Collectively, right?
Collectively, yeah. I think it's about 8 or 10.
He's only
somewhere around there. Yeah.
He's only been at Texas. This is only his 5th year here. He's already accomplished so much. So to sit here and think, like, dang, in year 3 and year 4, he was one play away from getting to a national title.
Yeah.
That stuff is things he's going to learn from. Like Sark has the ability to be that guy, right? To like figure that stuff out. And I think over time that's going to occur. And at some point, whether I don't know if that's this year, I don't know if that's next year, it might not be from 2 years from now. He's going to figure it out, right? I think this is just another opportunity to do that. But until he can do that, I would agree. I think Texas loses that game until we can find the moment, we see the moment that he figures that you know the light bulb goes off and he has that one play that he calls on in a critical moment, and it goes.
And Sark has a relationship with Kirby Smart, like they
very close.
Being the 2 most proud Saban disciples, at least the most recent ones, and the other, and then you look at, because the way that Kirby coaches against Sark and Dan Lanning is interesting. There's an energy when he coaches against those 2 dudes, because he looks at them as they're on his bumper. Sark is already on his bumper in recruiting, taking Tyler Atkinson this year, taking Justice Terry the year before, and he's staying on his bumper, right? So so these opportunities, the last place he can hold serve is on the field.
On the field, that's it. He can't throw hands with him. You got to do it on the field.
You got to do it on the field because he knows he's close.
Yeah.
But this is, to your point, though, even if we lose the game the 3rd time, eventually it's going to make Sark, that hardening is going to make Sark break through the same way we saw Ryan Day finally break through.
Yeah. Man. And something will give. And I think we all, until we could see that moment, I would agree. I think Texas loses this game. So it'll be very interesting. We'll see what happens there. And then you finish it off with a great home slate, the rivalry home slate at home to Arkansas. Any concerns with Arkansas? Arkansas is an interesting team to me.
Arkansas
it's
is
also a rivalry.
Arkansas is very interesting to me. I think this is going to be where it starts off it'll start off close, and then I think Texas will eventually pull away. A&M, if A&M is healthy, it'll be close. But usually at this time of the season, they're either really good or they're like
on their usual downfall.
Yeah. They're either they didn't have 3-4 win losses already. So it kind of, to me, as we get closer to that, right now, I just don't see Texas losing those. But that Arkansas one is, again, Arkansas is another team, always gives Texas issues. in the past when they've been, relatively good, Arkansas will come in and ruin a party. So
Cool.
I think for now, right now, I'm gonna say Texas beats them just off of sheer talent alone.
Gotcha. Steven?
Yeah, I don't think Arkansas is going to have the horses at the end of the season. I do worry about the depth of their team. I also wonder if Sam Pittman will still be their coach by the time that comes around. I really don't know.
You think they're going to be that bad throughout the season leading up to
Yeah,
that point?
I
Okay.
like Taylon Green is going to have to stay healthy and be and make a big leap. He's going to have to make a
Right.
big leap. He's going to have to be like what KJ Jefferson was like 4 years ago before KJ went bad.
Oh gosh.
Um,
Yeah.
like when KJ and Rocket Sanders were like at their peak
Right.
Yeah.
with with Traylon Burke, like they're gonna have to be. I don't see a Traylon Burke on this team. I don't even see a Jaquindon Jackson on. I mean, Braylon Russell's a good. I mean, he's a good big back. He reminds me of Braylon Allen from the Jets, but he's
Yeah.
a good player. But like, they're not like they sent multiple guys to the NFL. They actually had talent last
That's
year.
crazy. Yeah.
And they gave us fits in Fayetteville. They always like we played. They did play us close. That game was closer than the Vanderbilt game was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though
That was a dogfight. Yeah.
that was an actual valid fight, but the person that was wrecking shop in that game is now on our team, Mr. Brad Spence. Like
That's
I find
right.
that interesting. Right.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was out there sacking
He
Quinn.
looked, he's like, wait a minute.
No, he's right. So
Those guys are good.
nah, I don't see the horses.
Yeah, those guys are doing something over there.
I don't see the horses unless they just come out of nowhere and Taylon Green is now playing at a potential all SEC level and there's some guys that just emerge that I don't respect on this depth chart. I think Texas just overwhelms Arkansas with depth and talent, like Tim said.
Fair. Yeah, I would agree with that. And then of course the game that's not the Thanksgiving game yet, A&M. What you got, Steve?
So I think Texas wins. I look at when's the last time we lost to a team that wasn't that was just, we were where they were just better than us in terms of just physically. Like
Yeah.
the Sark's recent losses have been to teams that are either equivalent or better than the roster he's had.
Right.
He doesn't drop games, at least recent. I would say the last time he dropped a game to a team that the roster wasn't as good as his was OU 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a fluke game, right? Like I still think that OU game was OU.
And he had the
was
lead
Brent
with
Venables'
90 seconds
really
left.
strong game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
He had
was
the lead with 90 seconds left.
that was his
After
really strong game for sure.
A disastrous first quarter. Remember the Texas got off to the worst
that
start
was
ever.
That was a Jesus Christ. That was probably one of the Sark's worst offensive games starting out. That was full of penalties,
Yeah.
dropped balls,
Interceptions. Interceptions in the end zone.
Offensive
goal
line
line
doing weird stuff. Yeah. Oh my God. That was that game was wild.
You get a wide receiver and a defensive back that leaves their feet, launches themselves into a tight end. He gets banged up and no flags.
Changes the entirety of the game.
It's just that was a weird.
But I would say I think that's the last time we lost to a team that we should have. Like we clearly are like we should have beat them. Like on paper, blah blah blah. Right. But that's what rivalry games are about. That's where the edge does get made up. We've seen that on the other side where OU clearly has a better roster, and for whatever reason that day, that rivalry, Texas brings it. Now this is different because it's home and home, and they do have to come to Austin. I do think that we will get a better showing from A&M than we got, especially their offense last year. But right now, and they're going to be motivated to be a spoiler. They're probably going to be playing to maybe prevent us from going to the SEC championship game. Like there'll be something on the table for them to spoil, right? But with that being said, I hang the hat on Texas defense. Get it done.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
in order to beat Texas, you're going to have to score points. You
Yeah.
can't beat us.
A lot of points.
You're only going to roll out there and score 17, 20 points. That's not going to be the way. Like that OU team put up 34, 35 points. So I just don't see. I think that's going to be a very, very exciting game.
I do too.
But I think Texas will pull it out in a rivalry game where we'll be nervous. We'll be nervous, but I think we'll take care of business.
I think that's going to be the Arch game. Like, I think that's going to be like if people like had any doubts about Arch by that point, like knowing what he did in A&M last year and how he came out and scored that, like
True.
that's going to be like a tip. Like
He set the
that's going to
tone.
be like
Start that
whatever's going to happen the rest of this year or the rest of this game. Like you're going to find out by that game that dude can play and he's ready to roll. I think Texas wins that game, but I do agree. I do think that offense does play better for A&M. Now, whether that means they score 1 point versus 0, or 3 points versus 0, or 7 points versus
Right,
0,
we're like play
I
better.
can't tell you right now,
They had
but they
0
will be better.
for
I
offense.
can't tell you right now, but they will be better. So that I think that has all of us either at 10-2 or 11-1, which is a very solid season. And that's good enough to get into the. Oh, you would think it's good enough to get into the SEC title game. Before we get out of here, Steven, do you have a prediction for SEC champion, and is that Texas?
I have it. Honestly, I'm between 4 teams right now, which is Texas, Alabama, LSU, and Georgia. And then after that, I do, like, no disrespect to anybody else, I have a drop off there.
Yep.
I haven't dug enough. I do think it's a good sign. Oh, who'd you say?
Oh no, I was
just
just laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
No, it's just. I mean, that I feel like those are it's going to be one of those 4.
I think so too, yeah.
But when I look at the schedules, because Alabama and LSU aren't on our side of the schedule, I got to see how that breaks out. With them. But I haven't put thought into yet in terms of like outright we're going to win the conference. I will by the time the season starts, but I'm not there yet. I'm just down to between those 4 teams. I feel confident that it'll be one of the 2 versus each other for that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm glad, obviously we whatever that was with Nussmeier last week, whether it was fake or a scare, I'm glad that he's okay. I'm a big Nussmeier fan. I like Gary Nussmeier a lot. I do think
I like LSU's team a lot. It's just Brian Kelly is the one that I have questions about, but that roster.
I watched,
good.
yeah. I did watch the first episode of that documentary, and it made me dislike Brian Kelly even more. So it's not like he did anything crazy in that episode. I was just like, okay, I don't.
The roster's great. The roster's
so
great.
Good. Yeah, it's very good.
Like the receivers, I'm excited about. I think Caden Durham's going to be an outstanding running back. He's one of my favorite kids I've ever seen play in person out of Duncanville, and he was phenomenal whenever he got carries last year. He ran for almost 800 yards and barely touched the ball last year, and still almost at 800 yards rushing. So what happens now that and then they have Harlan Berry coming in, the number 1 running back from this class. Then Garrett Nussmeier being a 4,000-yard passer. You get a healthy Harold Perkins back with Weeks, with the transfers they've gotten on the defensive line, including Sadir Mitchell. There's no excuses for LSU as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. If Brian Kelly doesn't get it done this year, I think it might be time to wrap it up.
There's going to be some questions. It's going to be people are going to start looking.
That will be the topic of the offseason going into the following year. Absolutely,
for sure.
If they
the last 3 LSU coaches have won a natty by now.
Wow.
Yeah, by year 5, he's in what, year 5 or 6? Yeah, he's in like year 5 or 6. Yeah, Saban won 1 year 2.
Saban,
yeah,
Les,
even Les Miles had won and won.
And Coach O.
Yeah, Coach O's wrong.
Man,
that's a standard, bro. And that's all in like the 20th, 21st century.
That's all within the 10, 15 years. That's insane.
And it is the
I
same.
think if I were to look at it, we'll talk about it next week. But I think if I were to look at it, I think I have Texas LSU in the SEC title game as of today.
Okay.
I just really like LSU in that offense. I'm also putting some fandom in there with Garrett Nussmeier. I really like Garrett Nussmeier. I think like if I were to rank quarterbacks in the
baller.
conference today, he would be my number one quarterback in the conference.
Yeah.
That's how I
think
have it ranked.
I don't think anybody is. I don't think
I think
anybody
there's some debate there.
fighting
Like
you.
Lenore Sellers could be up there. Like you could argue that with me. You and I could go there with you. Like you could argue.
Sellers might be the
Lambo.
most talented. I mean, him and Arch are probably like the most raw NFL talent, blah, blah, blah. My
Yeah.
thing with Sellers is there's a lot on his plate that he's going to have to carry in that offense.
He lost
There's no more Rocket Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost some. Like Nick Harbor's going to have to really come through.
He's gonna have to be that guy. That number
He's
one.
going to have to
I
be
mean,
that guy.
is he a senior this year?
He's a junior.
Junior. Okay.
It's year 3 for Nick Harbor, but I like Lenore Sellers. You know, he showed out last year, but can he be, you know, like a Cam Newton? Like that, they're kind of asking him to be like Cam Newton this year.
Yeah, like he was at Auburn. Yeah, he like carried the bulk of the weight of the offense.
Exactly.
And hope
That's
the
a
defense-
lot
we
to
hope
ask
they'll-
from somebody.
Hope that
Nick
Especially in this
Dylan
day and age of football.
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
It's Nick and Lenore's, and that's pretty much it. If you ask me,
Well, they've got a running back that's pretty good too, right?
Well, Rocket went to the
Carolina?
league.
yeah,
Rocket went to the league. Okay.
Yeah, Rocket's on the Chargers now, and the tight end's really good. The tight end is still there. He's actually a fit.
okay.
So he's got 2 guys. Not that the other guys are trash. I mean, but
Yeah.
Josh Pate talked about this on his South Carolina preview, and I thought he nailed it. He was like, "Y'all should have hit the portal for receivers the way Penn State did, the way Auburn did.
Yeah.
Like they went and got number 1 receivers. Even A&M getting KC Concepcion from NC State. That's a 1,000-yard receiver.
Big pickup, man. And
Like-
there's so many wide receivers out there that are just like instant grabs.
They
like,
passed.
Yeah.
So either it's a missed evaluation or they know something we don't.
Or it's
Maybe they believe in their guys. Maybe they believe that they're going to develop their guys that they have in there, and that might be the case. You know, maybe they trust in their ingrown talent and who they put in their they're hanging their hats on. Maybe they don't want to shake up the roster. They don't want to make people uncomfortable. But are you trying to compete? Are you trying to win? Or are you trying to?
Yeah, that's what Josh Pate was saying. He was like, "Look what Penn State did. They went and got receivers."
instant upgrades at receivers. Instant. Like now you can literally go and say, all right, Drew Aller, like I don't want to hear it anymore. Like,
No excuses, Drew
excuse.
Aller. Even with
Right.
Tyler Warren going to the
Frankly.
league, no
no
excuses.
excuses.
Yeah.
right? But who knows? Maybe South Carolina has their own version of Matt Nagy, and they like 3-star talent to make like 5-star or whatever the hell he was doing. Like I don't know what they're doing, but maybe they got that going on over there for them. But well, hey, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Steven, as always, it is great to have you on the show. It's always a good time, always good conversation. I appreciate the time. Before we get out of here, why don't you let the people know what you're up to and where we can find you?
Thank you for having me on, Harish, Tim. Really appreciate it. Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. You guys are awesome. I love the energy y'all bring every episode. Passionate. I would love to have you guys on my platform during the season.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm going to try to have midweek guests the best I can with my schedule because I do travel a bit. But Fanatic Perspective on YouTube, you can find me there, Talking Longhorn. We'll be getting back to some Cowboys content. We'll have Spurs content during the NBA season. We also do college hoops. So it's just everything I'm interested in. But our main bread and butter is Texas football.
Yep.
And, this is the best time that I've had in my adult lifetime to be a Texas fan. It's easy to be a Texas fan now. But
Well,
when I had that channel pre-COVID during Tom
a lot of
Herman
fun.
era, you had to be a real one to be over there. Okay?
yeah,
So it's easy now. There's a lot of people on the bandwagon now, which is good. That means you're winning. Okay? And I want to be winning. So I'm excited. I'm so excited for this season. I'll be all on Bleacher Report as well. doing post-game content and some weekly stuff as a Longhorn contributor. But thanks for having me on, fellas. I really, really appreciate it.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there a specific day during the week you're on Bleacher Report?
So right now it sounds like it's going to be Monday, Wednesday with some like quick hitters, and then every post game, like right after the game's over.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. We will put that out there. We appreciate you coming on again.
Thank
Tim
you.
Wayne, as always, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Tim Wayne. I want to again thank the TikTok community for doing what they do. They got our video one of our videos up there to about 50,000 views. So we do appreciate it. Again, just some small locker room talk. I got some things coming down the pike here within the next couple of days. Have been scheduled. They're ready to drop here. So we will definitely be keeping you guys posted. Again, I appreciate the TikTok family. The Twitter family is always on 10. Also for y'all that don't know, I want to throw this out here really quick here. I posted it last night, but for those that are listening, for those that are in the Austin area, there will be a Longhorn meetup, and I want to make sure that I get and let people know about it. It is going to be at a Randall's. It is going to be Sunday the 17th. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be at 5145 North FM 620. For those in Austin, there will be Malik Muhammad and Trey Wiseman will be there. It will be from 12 to 2 p.m. on Sunday. So if you're in the area, if you're the Longhorn faithful, if you're in the area, especially in that area, really nice part of town, make sure to stop in on Sunday. That's August 17th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Malik Muhammad and Trey Wiseman will be there. You can meet and greet with them. You can also get a couple photo ops and autographs there. Again, that's going to be at the Randalls at 5145 North FM 620 in Austin, Texas.
Yep. I will not be there because I'll be asleep, but I hope you guys have a good time.
At 12 p.m.?
Tim, I don't go to bed till 6 a.m. What are we talking about? I got video games to play, and that's my only time to play them. I have to go play a game in your dynasty, so I have to be up till 6 a.m. to do that.
You don't have to do anything. You could have played it at regular times like regular people.
Well, you know what? That's why there's a reason why we're not all the same. But you know what? You can find me at the Uncle Gandhi. Of course, find us both on LH Fan Battle. And then follow us on TikTok. If you guys like the show tonight, like, comment, subscribe. We'll have more Longhorn community members and podcasters on the show throughout the season. We're very excited for this year. Archmania is almost here. And we're almost there, guys. Just 16, really in about an hour and a half, 15 more days until Texas football is back. But until then, my name's Harish. It's my guy, Tim Wayne. This is our guy, Fanatic Perspective, Steven. We out of here. Peace.
Till Gabriel.